Let's get right into it. Number 1. The gentle hum of your refrigerator. You know that comforting low thrum your fridge makes. The one that's just always there, a subtle white noise to your existence. Well, what if I told you that innocent little hum could be the soundtrack to your impending doom? No, I'm not talking about a faulty compressor finally giving up the ghost and spoiling your artisanal cheeses. I'm talking about something far more insidious. Something that whispers of a world where the very air you breathe is conspiring against you. Imagine, if you will, a scenario where that hum isn't just the cooling mechanism doing its job, but rather the subtle vibration of a gas leak, slowly, imperceptibly filling your kitchen with an odorless, colorless killer. Your brain, bless its oblivious heart, has long since filtered out the fridge hum as background noise, a non-threat. It's the ultimate psychological blind spot. You're so accustomed to it, so utterly unconcerned, that by the time you notice anything amiss, it's probably too late. Carbon monoxide, natural gas, whatever silent assassin is lurking, it's using the familiar hum as its cover. It's the perfect camouflage for a killer, the sound of domesticity, the rhythm of safety. And your brain, ever the efficiency expert, has decided this sound is so normal, so utterly benign, that it doesn't even register as a blip on your danger radar. So next time you hear that gentle hum, maybe just, open a window. Or, at least check your gas detector if you have one. If not, well, enjoy the hum while it lasts. Number 2, the soft click of a door latch. There's a certain comfort in the soft click of a door latch, isn't there? It's the sound of security, of privacy, of a barrier between you and the chaotic outside world. It's the sound of home. But what if that reassuring click isn't locking the world out, but rather locking something in with you? Or worse, locking you in. Picture this. You're tucked away in your cozy abode, perhaps enjoying a quiet evening, and you hear that familiar click. Only this time, it's not you closing the door. It's not your partner. It's not the wind. It's the sound of a faulty mechanism, a worn-out spring, or perhaps a very patient intruder. Your brain, conditioned by years of positive reinforcement, interprets that click of safety. It's a Pavlovian response to the sound of a closed door. But what if that click is the sound of a fire door failing to latch, allowing smoke to billow into your escape route? Or the sound of a submarine hatch sealing, but not quite, leaving a tiny, insidious leak? Or, in a more mundane but equally terrifying scenario, the click of a door that's just locked itself from the outside, leaving you trapped in a burning building, or worse, trapped with your in-laws. The soft click, usually a symbol of safety, becomes a harbinger of disaster. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that this sound is so innocuous, so utterly normal, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of alarm. It's the sound of a trap snapping shut, and you, dear listener, are the cheese. So next time you hear that gentle click, maybe just, jiggle the handle, or at least check if you have a key. If not, well, enjoy the silence while it lasts. Number 3, the subtle drip of a fauceta, the rhythmic, almost meditative drip, drip, drip of a leaky faucet. For some, it's a minor annoyance, a nagging reminder to call the plumber. For others, it's a soothing lullaby, a constant in the background of their lives. But what if that seemingly harmless drip is actually a tiny, persistent drumbeat signaling your demise? We're not talking about water damage to your antique mahogany table, though that's certainly a tragedy in its own right. We're talking about the slow, insidious erosion of your very foundations. Imagine that drip isn't just water, but a highly corrosive acid, slowly eating away at the structural integrity of your home. Or perhaps it's not the water, but the sound itself. Your brain, in its relentless pursuit of patterns, might become so accustomed to that drip that it starts to ignore other, more critical sounds. The subtle creak of a floorboard under an intruder's foot, the faint hiss of a gas leak, the distant wail of a siren, all drowned out by the hypnotic rhythm of the drip. It's the ultimate auditory camouflage, a mundane sound masking a monstrous threat. You're so focused on the insignificant, on the tiny, predictable splash, that you miss the earthquake rumbling beneath your feet. It's a psychological trick, a cognitive bias that turns a minor irritation into a fatal distraction. Your brain, ever the master of efficiency, has decided this sound is so utterly normal, so utterly benign, that it doesn't even register as a blip on your danger radar. So next time you hear that gentle drip, maybe just, fix the faucet, or at least pay attention to what else is going on around you. If not, well, enjoy the drip while it lasts. Number 4. The worry of your computer fan, that tireless little propeller, is the unsung hero of your digital life. It whirs, it hums. It keeps your precious machine from melting into a puddle of silicon and plastic. It's the sound of productivity, of entertainment, of endless cat videos. But what if that familiar worry is actually the soundtrack to your digital, and perhaps even physical, undoing? We're not talking about your computer overheating and losing that crucial spreadsheet, though that's a nightmare for another day. We're talking about something far more sinister, something that exploits your reliance on technology. Imagine that worry isn't just the fan, but the sound of your computer struggling under the weight of a massive malicious download. Or perhaps it's the sound of a hidden cryptocurrency miner silently siphoning off your electricity and heating your room to an unbearable temperature, slowly cooking you alive. Your brain, conditioned by years of constant digital companionship, interprets that whir as a sign of normal operation. It's a comforting drone, a sign that all is well in your virtual world. But what if that whir is the sound of your webcam, silently activating, broadcasting your every move to a shadowy figure across the globe? Or the sound of your hard drive encrypting itself, locking you out of your entire digital life just before the ransomware demand pops up? The worry, usually a symbol of technological efficiency, becomes a harbinger of digital disaster. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that this sound is so innocuous, so utterly normal, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of alarm. It's the sound of a digital trap snapping shut, and you, dear listener, are the unsuspecting victim. So next time you hear that gentle whir, maybe just, check your task manager, or at least unplug your webcam. If not, well, enjoy the whir while it lasts. Number 5. The distant sirens, song that faint, rising and falling, wail in the distance, the siren. It's a sound we've all grown accustomed to, a background hum of urban life. It signifies help, emergency services, a crisis being addressed. But what if that distant siren isn't coming for someone but for you? We're not talking about a minor fender bender outside your window. We're talking about the sound of an ambulance arriving for your sudden, inexplicable collapse, or a fire truck pulling up to your burning building, a building you're still very much inside. Your brain, in its infinite capacity for self-preservation, has categorized the siren as a sound of external events. Something happening out there. It's a signal of danger, yes, but a danger that doesn't directly involve you. This cognitive shortcut allows you to remain calm, to continue scrolling through TikTok while someone else's life unravels. But what if that siren is the sound of a police car responding to a silent alarm you accidentally triggered? Or worse, one that was triggered by a home invasion you're completely unaware of. The distant siren, usually a symbol of public safety, becomes a harbinger of personal catastrophe. Your brain, ever the master of efficiency, has decided this sound is so utterly normal, so utterly benign in its distance, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of immediate, personal alarm. It's the sound of fate knocking, and you, dear listener, are too busy ignoring the doorbell. So next time you hear that distant siren, maybe just, check your pulse, or at least glance out the window. If not, well, enjoy the peace while it lasts. Number 6. The gentle creak of your house at night. Every old house has its quirks, its personality. And part of that personality is the symphony of creaks, groans, and subtle shifts it makes as it settles into the night. It's the sound of a living, breathing structure, a comforting presence. But what if those gentle creaks aren't just the house settling, but something far more unsettling? We're not talking about ghosts, though that's certainly a more entertaining thought. We're talking about the subtle sounds of structural failure, of foundations shifting, of timbers groaning under an unbearable load. Your brain, accustomed to the nightly chorus of your home, dismisses these sounds as normal, as part of the house's charm. It's a familiar lullaby, a sign that all is well in your domestic sanctuary. But what if that creak is the sound of a load-bearing beam, finally, giving way, or a slow, insidious leak in the attic that's weakening the ceiling above your bed? Or perhaps, in a more chilling scenario, it's the sound of someone or something slowly, carefully making their way through your home, trying to avoid making too much noise. The gentle creak, usually a symbol of comfort and familiarity, becomes a harbinger of collapse, or worse, intrusion. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that this sound is so innocuous, so utterly normal, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of alarm. It's the sound of a silent countdown, and you, dear listener, are blissfully unaware. So next time you hear that gentle creak, maybe just, check the attic, or at least lock your doors. If not, well, enjoy the quiet while it lasts. Number 7. The sudden silence. Sometimes the most terrifying sound isn't a sound at all. It's the sudden, inexplicable absence of sound. You're used to the constant hum of life, traffic outside, birds chirping, the distant chatter of neighbors, but then, for a fleeting moment, it all just stops, and your brain, instead of registering this as a moment of peace, should be screaming, because often that sudden silence is the prelude to something truly catastrophic. We're not talking about your noisy upstairs neighbors finally going on vacation. We're talking about the kind of silence that precedes a natural disaster. The birds stop singing, the wind dies down, the distant rumble of the city fades. It's the calm before the storm, literally. Your brain, wired for pattern recognition, might just register this as a pleasant break from the noise, a moment of tranquility. But what if that silence is the sound of an approaching tornado, sucking the air out of the atmosphere before it rips through your town? Or the eerie quiet before an earthquake as the earth holds its breath? Or, in a more personal horror, the silence that falls when a predator, human or otherwise, has just entered your space and is holding its breath, waiting for you to make a move. The sudden silence, usually a welcome respite, becomes a chilling omen. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that this lack of input is benign, even desirable. It's the sound of the world holding its breath. And you, dear listener, are about to find out why. So next time the world goes quiet, maybe just, look up, or at least check your surroundings. If not, well, enjoy the calm while it lasts. Number 8. The unfamiliar click of your seatbelt. You buckle up every time you get in a car, right? It's a habit, a mundane click that signifies safety and compliance. You barely even notice it anymore. But what if that familiar click suddenly feels different? What if it's a click you've never heard before? A subtle shift in the mechanism that your brain, in its autopilot mode, dismisses as nothing. We're not talking about a broken seatbelt, though. That's certainly a problem. We're talking about the subtle, almost imperceptible sound of a seatbelt that's been tampered with, a mechanism that's been compromised. Imagine you're about to embark on a journey, and as you click your seatbelt, it makes a slightly off-kilter sound, a sound that doesn't quite resonate with the thousands of times you've buckled up before. Your brain, eager to get on with the drive, quickly rationalizes it away. Maybe it's just a new car or a bit of dust. But what if that click is the sound of a faulty latch, one that will fail at the precise moment you need it most? Or perhaps, in a more chilling scenario, it's the sound of a device, subtly attached to your seatbelt, designed to incapacitate you, or worse. The unfamiliar click, usually a symbol of safety, becomes a harbinger of betrayal. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that this sound is so innocuous, so utterly normal, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of alarm. It's the sound of a trap snapping shut. And you, dear passenger, are about to go for a very unpleasant ride. So next time you hear that gentle click, maybe just, give it a good tug. Or at least check for anything unusual. If not, well, enjoy the ride while it lasts. Number 9. The faint buzz of a fluorescent light, that subtle, almost imperceptible hum emanating from fluorescent lights. It's a staple of offices, schools, and any place where joy goes to die. For most, it's just background noise easily tuned out. But what if that faint buzz isn't just the sound of inefficient lighting, but a subtle, insidious signal of something far more dangerous? We're not talking about a flickering bulb giving you a headache, though that's certainly a valid complaint. We're talking about the kind of buzz that indicates a failing electrical system, a frayed wire, or even worse, a hidden surveillance device. Your brain, in its relentless pursuit of normalcy, has long since categorized the fluorescent hum as a benign, if annoying, part of the environment. It's the sound of productivity, of mundane existence. But what if that buzz is the sound of an overloaded circuit, slowly heating up, just waiting for the opportune moment to spark a fire? Or perhaps it's the high-frequency whine of a hidden microphone, picking up every whispered secret, every private conversation. The faint buzz, usually a symbol of dreary efficiency, becomes a harbinger of electrical catastrophe or a chilling invasion of privacy. Your brain, ever the master of filtering out the irrelevant, has decided this sound is so utterly normal, so utterly benign, that it doesn't even trigger a flicker of alarm. It's the sound of a ticking time bomb or a listening ear, and you, dear listener, are none the wiser. So next time you hear that gentle buzz, maybe just, check the wiring, or at least whisper your secrets outside. If not, well, enjoy the hum while it lasts.